The purpose of this video is to show you how you can import data into Odoo via a script. A few things I want to point out before getting started. One, I'm on a SaaS environment here, not Odoo SH. The way that I will import this data is actually through a script that I have that I'll run locally. Last thing I want to point out is I'm in Austria currently, and I'm in the Alps, and I have very bad internet connection. So if it takes a minute to upload the data, that's why. So let's get started. Going to my contacts app, I have a couple contacts here, and I want to add some new ones as a simple example. I have my Excel file here, and I'll make some updates. I'll just say John Jones. I'll provide a number, jj@gmail.com, and maybe one more, Mike Reynolds, and at mike@gmail.com. Okay, save that file. The name of the file is nko import. Now let's take a look at my script, right? This is purely for demo purposes, so password, admin, obviously all that is fake, but you'd have your credentials here. Your essentially proper way to do it would be to have a config file that you point to in order to pull the credentials that you would need in order to access your database. In this case, I would authenticate with just a username and password, and then I have my Excel file with my path here. Here's where I'd actually authenticate, where it's going to use my user ID in order to authenticate and allow me to make API calls. Here's where I actually just pull the Excel file where I reference that path. Then right here, I'm essentially going to just loop through each row in Excel, and I'm going to create loop through, and I'm going to pull the data, and then I'm going to create the contact, which is actually down here. But this is these are the names of the fields. Then I'm going to populate based off of what I pull out of Excel. And then, at the end, I'm just going to print and mark it as done. So let's actually go through and pull my script. Again, Python 3 import nko. When I run that script, it'll just populate just like that. And it'll tell me I've successfully imported 2 contacts. And when I go here and I do a quick refresh, again, that's the loading. This is where it means taking a minute because my internet connection is pretty bad. But you'd see Mike Reynolds and John Jones were both added with the respective emails and phones populated accordingly. So that is essentially the basics of how you would do it, right? We're using the API, we're using, and we're allowing Odoo's business logic to do its thing, which is important in terms of preserving the integrity of the data that you inject into the database. And yeah, that's more or less the mechanics of how it would get done. It's pretty simple. If you have additional questions, more than happy to address. Thanks so much for listening. Have a great day.